Well, I'm going to get your insight because I know you've studied psychology, but people are in willful denial. Businessmen I know, wealthy people I know, upper middle class, and then just average folks. I'll say, hey, what do you think about what's happening? And they're like, I don't want to hear about it. You know, I know about your show, and I don't want to hear negativity. It's not negative. I mean, if your leg's broken, you got to fix it. And so there's this, the establishment is being encouraged to carry this out because they know the public has been put in a catatonic state.
Yes, that state is one that is one of comfort. It's just psychologists and even pop psychologists have described it as a comfort zone. They don't want to disturb that. You bring some things to them that it's upsetting to them. It makes them unhappy, but they need to wake up and start confronting exactly what you're saying. And you have in your style, I'll say that, you've hit them right between the eyes. If you wake them up.
Well, I mean,
because sometimes that is the best method.
Well, there's different ways for different people, different strokes for different folks. Many different ways of thinking make the world go round. I just hit people from the honest perspective that I'm freaked out by this, and I know history, and I know what's happening currently is nightmarish. And so that's why I get so upset. But, the folks that are smooth about it like yourself or low-key like Ron Paul, that's also very effective. And I also want to talk about the fact that we've laid this out and made these predictions, so now people are actually listening. Yeah,
your credibility has soared because you've been saying this for years, and then people said, oh, that's just a bunch of bull, and now they're saying, uh-oh. And they're coming in back to you and listening to you and supporting you now, unlike they ever have before.
But I mean, not just myself. I mean,
well, everyone in this area. But really, the alternative media. You've been at the forefront of many, and 9/11 for sure. You're the founding. Of that.
We're gonna come back to the full audience, and let's go through your take on the comfort zone, the cognitive dissonance, people staying in that little bubble, and they don't want you to come into it. But I mean, just briefly, the psychology of people that live in denial. I know they buy into a worldview, and then they will defend that worldview no matter what all the evidence shows to their own detriment. Can you speak to that psychology?
Yes, I can. What they're actually supporting is the false self. And we've moved away from that at birth, and we've been fed by our families and other people that are suffering in the same mode, and it's a mode of delusion. And
it's play acting is what I call it.
Exactly. And that personality, that identity of who we think we are, is a false self, and it's fed by what's wrong in the world, not what's right. And I maintain that forgiveness can bring you out of that and establish a greater objectivity, and non-judgment and forgiveness of self and others can create a dynamic that is awakening. It's awakening dynamic.
That's right. A lot of people, and it's very complex, but just to simply, put a little feeler into this whole delusional system, people think if you're warning them about something that they're doing you a favor even listening, and that somehow you're trying to show off to them. Because they're so self-centered, they've been trained to be self-centered, they can't imagine someone would have an instinct to want to warn them and help them. I mean, it's sick.
It's sick, but it's also frustrating at times, is it not?
Oh, very.
You have a heart that wants to help people in such a powerful way that when they don't respond immediately, sometimes it can be frustrating. But we're all frustrating. But patience is love. And that's the hardest thing. It only takes a little time to learn it. Because it's a thing that takes time for sure, mainly. And that's patience with one another. Because humans are not like light bulbs you can turn off and on. It takes time to work with them. And people that have been turned off of you 5 years ago are your friends today.
Well, I mean, that's why I don't get mad at people. I just feel sorry for them, and I try to warn them or show them something. And if they disagree, that's fine. But if they get that weird, self-assured, eating grin on their face of like pleasure, or so what? Or you tell some yuppies, hey, they're going to take our existing roads we paid for and give them to a foreign corporation. They'll just laugh and say, so what? Like saying so what gives them power over it. Yeah, there's an arrogance there, but it's not the real self that's speaking. It's this false glorified self that's interacting with you. And that's really the cause of warfare, is where we have these abstracted selves fighting with abstracted selves. They're not real identities. It's a conjured up construction. It's an imagined identity of who people think they are. No, I know. You always talk about that, yeah. and it's very strange when you lose more and more of that. And then people take my aggression and my fury as an ego-driven thing. It's the opposite. I know it is. It's an instinct-driven thing out of basic survival. But so many people I mean, I remember being 3 years old. I talk about this a lot, and I was out on the back porch by myself playing, and I was a superhero jumping on and off the back porch. I remember it was Batman or Superman, and it was a sunny day, and I had this huge, like a thunderbolt hit me, and it said, "You're play acting. You're not really the superhero, and you're not the whole world. You are just a tiny spark of life for a short period of time." It wasn't a child's thought. It was like this whole download, and I realized that I was, just this little flotsam and jetsam on the sea of humanity and time and thousands of years, and everybody that had come and gone, and those that were going to come in the future, and it wasn't crushing. It was liberating. And then my whole life I realized that other people are still playing dress up. They're still imagining. They're still, that's what trinkets and baubles and signets and symbols are all about, is like you said, this false template. Unconscious people.
Yes, you have a connection to reality that not many people have.
Well,
no, you see it, but because you have this connection and your studies over the years of the world system, then you can see how evil that it really is.
Well, the elites are self-actualized, though. I mean, the
yes.
elites also are conscious and understand in a mechanical way, but it's very cold with them.
But when you see it at the depth, and you see the beast to the center, I mean, to the depth that not many people see it, and I see it in the same way. Okay, but and it's upsetting to us to see it like that, and then trying to reach out to people, and they're not responding like we want them to do. Sometimes it can be frustrating.